welcome to The Photography Guy. I'm your host, The Photography Guy. Let's get started here with another great photo show. Hey, good morning, my friends, and welcome back once again to The Photography Guy, season number 2. Yep, this is a new season for The Photography Guy. I am here to share with you all the great things about photography. First, let me tell you, this is episode number 59. This is episode number 59 for October the 19th, 2014. And I'm your host, Jack. I'm here to guide you through the magical world of photography. All things connected, all things digital, and all things editing and snapping, right? So we are going to talk today a little bit about digital photography with cell phones. But first, let me thank you for joining me here to learn more about your camera and making great photographs. Please check out my website at thephotographyguy.net, where you can comment on these shows. If you're listening to the audio podcast, please also check out the YouTube video. And you can find that on my channel at 42 Technoman. That's 42 Technoman. Please also visit my website if you want to learn more about digital editing. Check out jtclearning.com, where you will find hours of photography training at a price that everybody can afford. And at the end of the show, I'm going to give you a coupon code so you can save even more. So as I said, my friends, today, first of all, I want to say welcome back to everybody. I see we got people coming in the chat room there this morning. We got Judy, we got Jake, and we got Brian and Vicky in the chat room this morning. Good morning to everybody, and thanks for joining me here this morning. It's very nice to be back on the air with you, and I'm glad that people are coming back in to watch the live shows once again. You know, it's you guys out there, the live show guys out there and girls watching this show that makes all things possible. It makes it worthwhile doing. So I'm glad to have you on board today. And as I said, if you looked at the opener in the show notes there, we're going to be talking about cell phone pictures. Yep, right here, I got a cell phone in my hand. I happen to have my iPhone, but it could be any cell phone you have. Now, you might be saying, Jack, why you want to talk about cell phone photography? You know, when everything out there is actually, you know, the digital cameras, we all have great digital cameras. Most of you that watch this show, and I know that you take fantastic photographs with those digital cameras. But recently on vacation with my wife, we went to, we were in Hawaii for a week. We had a wonderful time, and it was our anniversary, so that's why we went to Hawaii to celebrate. And it dawned on me that I was creating a photo book, and it dawned on me that a lot of the pictures that I took, not a lot, but, you know, some memories that I wanted to capture for my photo book happened to be on my cell phone. Then I started thinking, well, what can I do with those pictures? I mean, yeah, I can upload them to Facebook. You might have seen a couple of those on Facebook. You can put them on Instagram or any one of the, you know, photography websites out there. But I started to think a little bit, well, I want to put these in my photo book. And we're also going to be, the second part of this show today is we're going to talk about creating a photo book. Now, if you've never created a photo book, this is a awesome way to share your pictures. You know, you hand somebody that hardcover book, or you can buy a softcover book and save a little bit of money. We'll talk about that later on. But it's really, really nice to have that photo book and be able to hand that to somebody and say, look, here's my my pictures of my trip. And it's also a great memory keepsake. You can lay it on your coffee table when people come over. They can enjoy your photos. You know, the old time, think back, you know, and a lot of you folks are probably about my age, maybe a little younger, but think back to the time when our folks actually took our pictures. They had them developed at, you know, Photo Shack or Kodak Instant Photos or wherever they had these pictures developed off of our rolls of film. And then we bought a photo album. And we brought that photo album home, and then we put the pictures in the photo album, right? We stuck all those pictures in the photo album, and that's how we shared our memories with people. Well, today there's a lot better way. If you're going to have digital pictures anyway, why not share those with a photo book? And folks, I'm not making any money off of Shutterfly, but that's the company I use for my digital prints, and I use them for my photo books. So it's just a great place to house the photos. You can create websites, and we'll talk about that another time. Now, with that said, I'm going to switch over some screens here, and I'm going to start right off the bat here with transferring my photos from my cell phone. I happen to have an iPhone, but this will work with any cell phones, any smartphone you have. I'm not really sure about any other, little flip phones. I don't know if it'll work, but, I would say it has to at least be a smartphone. Let's start there. So we're going to use our smartphone today, and I took some pictures with this thing. And let me tell you what, with a cell phone, they always say the best camera that you can have, and we've talked about this on this show numerous times, is the phone that you have or the camera that you have on you at the time you want to take a picture. Most times we have our cell phones in our pocket. So I would tell you that you should learn a little bit more about cell phone photography, a little bit more about how to capture that memory, because memories are just that, right? It's a snapshot. It's a snap in the time of our lives, and it may never happen again. So I think the cell phones play a very important role in photography. I wouldn't shoot a wedding with it, of course not, but capturing memories. I see my wife on this trip many times with her phone out. She has a iPhone also, and she was snapping away and taking pictures. And, to see people who are not photographers taking pictures keeps me very happy, because I think people are capturing that time of their lives. Okay, so anyway, I said good morning to the folks in the chat room. We're going to move it on and move up here. And, geez. Okay, so Jake put in the chat room, I got to read this to you here. Just seen this. About damn time to get your butt back. So thanks, Jake. I appreciate that. And I've been worrying about all you folks out there and seeing what you've been up to. Judy says, that was funny. Obviously, that is a good time. Brian, good morning to you. And Vicky, good morning to you also. I think, summertime, let me just back up here a minute and say summertimes are really hard. You guys know how busy summer is. I mean, just with mowing the grass on Sundays, and getting all that stuff done and putting together shows. Now, I need to record stuff. I bought a great camcorder. I can go out and record some video stuff that I've done in the past for you folks to share in these shows. So I do need to get more back into that. I mean, now it's getting to be fall and it's starting to be cold outside. But I don't know. I took this summer off as a summer season, and we'll see how it plays out this next year. But we'll see where we get to. All right, let me switch around some screens here. And we're going to first talk about getting your cell phone pictures onto your actual computer. Let me move over here. So we are going to be using Lightroom today, but you can also use your Photoshop Elements organizer. You can definitely use that. And did everybody see Photoshop Elements 13 is out? Did you know that? Did you catch that on my on the Facebook post? I think I posted it. Yep, Adobe Elements 13. It is October. That's when they released their new versions. It is out. I haven't purchased it yet, but it is available. Okay, so first of all, we're going to talk about our cell phone. So here's our cell phone. I connected it with the camera cable on the bottom, or the USB cable. You can see there in the USB cable. For those on the audio folks, this is why you might want to catch the YouTube video. So on the bottom, it's plugged in. All I got to do now is turn my phone on and punch in my code. And what we're going to do now is we're going to pull some photos from my trip into the organizer. And we're going to do that very easily by going up to File, Import Photos and Videos. And we can see here on the left, and right here on the left, you can see where it says Jack's phone, Jack's iPhone. So I'm going to click on Jack's iPhone, and obviously there's pictures in here, not from the trip. I'm going to scroll down to the pictures I want to bring in from my trip. So I'm going to scroll down here a little bit more. Still scrolling down, still scrolling. And these are some pictures that I captured from my trip. Now, a lot of people, I do get emails back when people watch these videos and say, Jack, why did you take a picture of a toilet? Well, That's something I started doing years and years ago. I don't know why I started doing this, but I'll throw it out there since you can see, obviously see the picture in my photo roll here of toilets, and we've kind of collected those when we went camping. We used to camp, and if you've ever been camping, different campgrounds have very much different toilets, and I don't want to throw too much out there about that, but we started collecting pictures of them. So wherever we go, we just grab a snap of the commode. So be that whatever it is, I know you guys have been watching me for a while. You know that I have some kind of a weird way of thinking about things. So I want to pull some of these pictures in so I can use these in my photo book. And obviously, when I was walking through the airport, we got our lays on. I started looking at those and I said, I snapped those. Those are actually, this one's a selfie on the left. And I want to tell you about selfies and cell phones. My wife was saying, why are all these people putting their phones on a stick? And we started talking about that. And it's like, why are they putting all these phones on a stick? I have no idea. But the more we start watching people, these sticks are called a selfie stick. And what it's for is you put your cell phone on it. And I didn't buy one. I was thinking about it. But you put it on a stick and you can actually extend the stick out and hold the stick up above you. And it has a shutter button on it that works on Bluetooth. And you can take a picture of yourself with, your cell phone. Hold it further out. Instead of seeing people's arms extended, this way your arms are not extended. You can get a nice group shot. You can get a shot of the background. So people are using these cell phones more and more as cameras, folks. It's just the way it is. Up here you can see where we have some pictures of the plane ride. I was shooting those naturally out of the plane window because they wouldn't let me on the wing. So I was just shooting those out of the window. And when we got there, we started shooting some pictures of our surroundings just by using our cell phones. So that's what I'm saying. I have a lot of cell phone pictures that I want to pull in to my organizer, or in this case, into Lightroom, one or the other. So let's go ahead and we're going to start off here very easily by unselecting everything. So I'm going to uncheck all, and I want to check certain pictures that I might want to use in my book. A couple of the aircraft pictures, maybe. Definitely a picture of my my wife there with her lay on. Picture of me with my lay on. Here's a better picture. My wife really liked this one. This is an extra one I took. This is a picture of our hotel room here. On the right, there's a picture of our view from our hotel room. We just happen to be on the 11th floor. If you're ever going to go out and go on vacation anywhere, I would recommend you use Travelocity. Travelocity was really good for us. It worked out really, really well. And, they did a really nice job of setting us up here. Here's a pictures of some hot dogs. Put those on there. Let's see what else here. Here's another picture of me, another selfie I did. I don't even like that word, really. I always take pictures of my food wherever I go. You guys know that. I take a lot of pictures of food. Picture of the stage, maybe. And we're going to scroll down here a little bit. We're going to go down here. Here's some pictures of us here at the top of Waikiki. You can look that up later. This is the food we had at the top of Waikiki, so I want those pictures because I may put those on a page of my book just to kind of share those people the experience I had. And here's a couple pictures here that we had the hostess take of us. Maybe we want the hotel. We want these little fish that we made on our trip. And I don't even know where I got that hamburger at, so I'm not really worried about that. Okay, so I have my picture selected that I want to import into my organizer. I'm going to go up here and say create it in a subfolder, and into subfolder, put a name in here. I'm just going to name this Hawaii Cell. Okay, so those came from my cell phone. And I'm going to simply click on import. And what that's going to do now is import those few pictures from my cell phone. As you can see, they're coming in here. This will give you a way that you can start editing those pictures just as you would with your camera, because you're pulling these into either your, like I said, your organizer or in this case, Lightroom. And it's allowing me to pull these in. And there it is. I have them already. All right. So I have my pictures in here. And these are from the Arizona Memorial. You've seen 7:30 a.m. We were the first ones in line. We were told to get there early, so we woke up at 5:30 in the morning to catch our shuttle to that. Again, some food, a selfie. So the pictures came out very nice. There's only a couple pictures here that I'd want to edit because I don't know what happened with my cell phone, but there happened to be some noise on the cell phone. There just wasn't enough lighting. And that's these two right here. You can see a picture of my wife here. This is Mary. You guys and girls seen her on the show before. She's modeled many times for me during these shows. And this is mine. We just wanted to get a picture of each other with our drink in our hand, with our cocktail. So I'm going to open this picture up. Now you can see the noise in this picture. And again, for those on the audio side, I'm very sorry you can't see it, but there's a lot of noise in this picture. And it kind of upset me because we probably will never be back to Hawaii. We talked about it maybe, every 5th year of our anniversary to fly back to Hawaii. But we may never get back there. And this is the only picture I have of my wife sitting at the dinner table at the top of Waikiki. I really, really want to clean this picture up. That's why I wanted to get these pictures into my organizer so I can do some editing. All right. We're going to go to develop mode here. And we're going to try to clean this picture up. Now, Lightroom has tools in here to do what is called the, it's switching over there now, to clean up noise reduction. Now, to find that, it's actually over on the left. It's not lens correction. We are going to look at detail. So under detail on the pull down menu on the right, there's noise reduction. The first thing is luminance. So if we pull this over a little bit, we're going to try to reduce some of that noise out of that picture. Now what happens is on the overall picture, you're going to start get a little bit of blotching in the picture. So we'll pull this back a little bit. You got to play with these details a little bit. Details and contrast. But you got to also be careful that you don't take too much out of this picture. You don't want to, make the picture any more blurry than you want it. And then what we're going to do is we'll raise the exposure on the overall picture just a little bit. And see there's some blotching around the eyes and stuff. You got to be really careful with this luminance. I'm going to pull it back a little bit. So is the cell phone the best in the world for taking pictures? Probably not. But the thing is, like I said, it's what we had on us at the time. So we wanted to grab these pictures. And it's probably about the best we're going to actually get it there. Maybe we'll turn up the clarity a little bit. And that will turn the clarity down a little bit. And you can see there with dropping the clarity, it also helped a lot to actually get rid of a lot of that noise in the background. We may be able to give it just a little bit more on the exposure. And all I'm doing is operating the slider controls. I'm not doing anything different with it. So that is not too bad. I think I can use that in my book. I think it will be just fine. And now we're going to open my picture up here. And again, we're going to start this time with exposure. We're just going to give it a little bit more exposure. But you can see all that noise in there. Noise is defined by little, for the unscientific term, I guess little bumps in your picture, little speckles in your picture. That is the definition of it. So we're going to pull this luminance up a little bit on this one. And just try to blend everything in the background there a little bit. There we go. And the contrast, we'll play with that. And again, all you're doing is operating your sliders. And we're doing this just for the sole reason of being able to maybe clean this picture up so I can use it in my book. Like I said, I'll probably never be back there again. the clarity. We're going to clean it up a little bit. Nope, we'll go back the other way. Just like so. And Jake says it's grainy. That's a good way of putting it, Jake. I'm sorry, that's a great way of putting it. Grainy. There's a lot of grain in it. And we'll bring up the just a little bit more. And if you notice there, if you're watching the video and you say, hey, Jack got a Hawaiian shirt on, that is correct. And I didn't buy it in Hawaii. We actually bought those at like JCPenney's. Macy's had some sales. We found some Hawaiian shirts. And I'm glad we did, because when you go to Hawaii, the shirts are triple the price they are here. So they're going to cost you a good penny. All right, so that cleaned that picture up pretty nice. I think we can use that now. And the food pictures, well, you know, they're not too bad. There's not too much noise in those. You could gain the exposure a little bit. And folks, if you've never used Lightroom, and if you're on the fence, you say, why would I want to use Lightroom? I went through almost 500 pictures from our trip. Probably something like that, like 500 pictures from our trip. And, you know, I went through those pretty rapidly. And there's a good workflow when you go through pictures that many. And the workflow is actually to the point where I can go through, I workflow them, and then what I do is I right-click on them, and I tell them to set a flag. And I flag my picture. The reason I do that is once I'm done with all my editing, picking the pictures I want from an individual group of pictures, I can filter upon that flag and then only upload that flag to Shutterfly. Now, I don't know how you upload your pictures to Shutterfly or SmugMug, whichever service you use, but I can tell you that it's easier to upload only what you want because it's going to save you time in the end. Now, this is a picture, obviously, again, shot with my cell phone, of the city way below. We were up 20 stories. And we can raise the exposure just a little bit and bring that city up a little bit more. And just like that. So, you know, even cell phone pictures, you can go in and just edit them like you normally would. You know, you might want to bring this down a little bit. And what's nice, I don't really want this to be a Lightroom class, but what's nice about Lightroom is you can actually take and you can pick out certain areas you want to lower the exposure or raise the exposure just by simply using the brush tool. So it works very nice. It's very easy to do. Just going to bring this up. This is one of our desserts. This is actually the dessert that I purchased. Right there. And on these, I don't use flash too much. A lot of you guys know that I'm pretty much one of those people that don't like flash. And this is my wife Mary's dessert right there. And I think that's all the pictures. Oh, no, there was this one. Now, this one was shot, again, with my cell phone. The girl did the very best she could. And, you know, I do want to make sure I get this in my book. Okay, so there is my pictures that I want to use. What I'm going to do now is go back to my library mode because I have everything edited that I want to edit. And we'll go back in here to library mode. We'll go back into the organizer to organize all the pictures together. Now, what we're going to do now is we're going to upload these pictures to Shutterfly. Again, you can use any service you want. Shutterfly, my sister, I called her this morning. She talked about a service called Snapfish. That's what she likes to use. So there's many different services out there you can use. I've just been using Shutterfly for years, and it just simply works for me. Their prices seem fairly decent, you know, I guess as good as anybody else. But I'm going to scroll down here. And what I did was I put the add-on in my, bring this one up. Get rid of this Facebook one. I put a publishing service on my Lightroom for Shutterfly Upload. Now you can also install Shutterfly Uploader in your Photoshop Elements organizer, and it would be in the form of an export. So you select the pictures you want. You're going to export those over to you know, your publishing service. You can see I got a couple here. I got Flickr. And folks, let me tell you about Flickr. Even the Flickr free version right now, they give you an absurd amount of storage space. Just absurd amount. And Um, I'm looking here at also at the chat room at the same time. Jake said, "What phone did I use for those?" Jake, this is the iPhone 5C. It's the colored iPhone. So I don't even know what the megapixel camera is. Probably 5, maybe 8 megapixels. I don't remember. But that's the cell phone I used. Good question. So Flickr is a great service. And what I do when I'm on vacations is I'll take my pictures, use a big enough memory card where you don't have to delete them. These people that want to delete all their pictures off their memory card every time, if it's not full, don't really worry about deleting the pictures off of it. What you want to do with those pictures on your memory card is just leave them on there because it acts as a backup, for storage. And luckily, we didn't have to delete the memory card one time. I did take my Nikon D600 and I did take the 32 gigabyte card in the slot, and I used a 16 gigabyte card as a backup card in the secondary slot. I never touched the backup card, so that tells you a lot there. I never had to touch the backup memory card. All the pictures I took, which I took a lot of pictures on vacation, went on the primary card. In the hotel room in the evenings, after we went on an excursion or after we did something there, thanks, Jake. The 5C does have an 8 megapixel camera. Thank you very much, Jake. But got back to the hotel room. I'd put the pictures into Lightroom on the computer, on the laptop. And then once I had them into Lightroom, I would just take those raw images and I would upload them right to Flickr. That way I knew no matter what happened, if I lost my laptop, we don't want to do that. But if we lost our laptop, if my camera card became deleted going through the scanners at the airport, whatever might have happened, it allowed me to always know that I have those pictures online in the cloud. So Flickr is a great service for that. For you wedding photographers out there and you event photographers, if you put them on Flickr, you can go to Flickr and then set the permissions to read private. So only set it to private so you can read them and nobody else can see them. Just a great, outstanding way of storing your pictures. So I don't usually buy many things through Flickr because their pricing scheme, I don't even know what developing company they use, but they usually seem to be a little higher than Shutterfly. So that's why then I go to Shutterfly. Now in Shutterfly, as you've seen, I just edited my pictures and I want to upload these to Shutterfly. And hopefully this will take too long. There's not too many here. The resolution is not real great, so we don't have to worry about real high-res pictures. These are the pictures I have. I want to go to Edit, and we're going to go to Select All. And then I'm going to go to my Shutterfly uploader down here in the left-hand side under my Publishing Services. Right-click on that and go to Create a Shutterfly Published Collection. And we're going to type in here Hawaii_cell. It says include the selected pictures. Yep, that's where I want to put them. Select a folder and select a folder from the list. Let's see if there's a list of folders here. Now we'll go back to my album. This is edited pictures. If I go here, this gives me all list of the albums I already have. And I already started one on here. And I don't really know where it went at this point. So we're going to go over here to enter album. And we're going to put in Hawaii_cell. As you see, I like to keep all these things the same name all the way through because it keeps my brain on one track. And that's very important. Next, I want to go ahead and I'm going to create this album. So I'll create it. Here it is with all the pictures in that I want to upload. And then all I got to do is right click on the Hawaii cell under Shutterfly Uploader. Again, if you're using the organizer in Elements, that's fine. Just click under File and then Export. And you'll take your selected photos. So they're in here. We're going to click on Publish Now. When we click on Publish Now, what's going to happen is, hopefully it don't ruin our stream here to you guys. But what's going to happen now is it's publishing those pictures up to Shutterfly. And we can see that at the top of Lightroom where it's actually sending those out. And again, I did that the same way I did with the Flickr. So when I was in the hotel room, I did the same thing, but I sent them via Flickr, and I published those with Flickr, and they went straight up to there. The only thing difference is I published all of them. So we would start in a hotel room, and then we'd go to dinner or lunch, or we would go walk around the town or go to the beach or something, and just let them upload. So again, you see they're clearing out of the publisher here because they're publishing them up, and they're going there. Those hot dogs and nachos, there's a funny story there. We actually went to Pearl Harbor for the day, and we got there very early. I said in the morning. Well, we sat down for breakfast at about 8:30, 9 o'clock, and all they were selling was hot dogs and nachos. So everybody there was having hot dogs and nachos for breakfast. So if you ever go to Pearl Harbor and you go in the morning, chances are it's what you're going to have. They don't have any Egg McMuffins. You're not going to find any eggs or bacon at Pearl Harbor in the morning. So we're uploading these pictures. They are going out to Shutterfly so I can use these in my book. My wife also has pictures on her cell phone that I may want to pull later on. I might do that later. I won't do that during the show, of course. Just to see if I can add those to my book, maybe somewhere to, tell a complete story. That's the idea with these photo books, folks. When you build a photo book, you are telling a story of your trip or of a wedding or of an event, and you want to build a story of all that stuff that you actually created. And it will stop at the top there once those have all been sent up. So it is all gone. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to minimize my Lightroom. I don't need that anymore. I'm done with that. We are going to open up my Firefox. Any browser actually will do it. And I think what I'm going to do here is I'll do a reselection so we can stay within the means of my screen here. And we'll go there. All right. So now what we got to do is we have to log into Shutterfly. Do that. Hopefully my book was saved, because I did already start this book. So I'm in my Shutterfly. I'm going to sign in. Hopefully I remember my login. You should remember your login. Not you guys know my password is all asterisks. Yep, Okay, so we did log in here. So this is the photo book I was working on right here. You can see I'm at 24 pages. I'm going to see if I can't just open this book up and it's loaded up here so I can work on it. Now you would be creating a new photo book. And all you got to do when you create a new photo book is just simply create a book, pick out what size you want it to be, and then go from there. Well, I don't know if this is where I left off or not. Actually, let's see here. This is not the book I want. Let's see. It's definitely not the book I want. I'm trying to find out how do I get back to the book that I was working on. And I did buy LastPass, Jake. Actually, I do have LastPass. I just don't use it all the time. My buddy asked me that the other day. He said, do you use LastPass? And I said, well, sometimes. Let's see here. Where is my book? Now I got to find out where my actual book is. And this is my project right here. Hawaii trip. So hopefully, because I had the book almost done, I'd hate to have to redo it. And I did save the changes. Hopefully this is the proper one. Yeah, this looks like the proper one. Yeah, the pages are loading. Thank goodness. It had me worried there for just a minute. I would recommend that you save your changes when you're creating this stuff because a photo book, I started this yesterday morning at about 9 o'clock. I worked on it till about maybe 2 o'clock in the afternoon. You know, you can let Shutterfly or any of these services take your pictures and lay it out for you. But remember, we're telling a story when we build a photo book. So the photo book itself, has to be in a natural progression type of way. When you're going out to dinner on a Wednesday night, you want Wednesday night's pictures together. You want, like Pearl Harbor was, well, I think Pearl Harbor was actually Wednesday. I'm sorry, Tuesday. So I put those pictures together. We went to the Culture Center Wednesday. I put those pictures together. We went to Maui on Thursday. You get the idea. So you have to get those pictures grouped together, and I wanted to make a really, really nice photo book that way. Now, it's still loading this up. It's loading all the pictures and pages up in the photo book. This is the cover on its own. I did some basic editing. About the only thing I put my own picture there in. But if you turn the pages with the little button on the bottom, you can see where you can start off. That's the first page of the book. You can add text to these things. You can see Mary there with her cell phone taking a picture of the trees. So I told you she used her cell phone a lot. And like I said, I've worked a lot on this book already. And what we want to do is, it's loading up the front cover still, I think. I think it's still trying to load a couple more pages. And yeah, it's loading a few more pages there. I want to go back to photos. Now the photos, as you use your photos in your book, what happens is the photos themselves will start taking themselves off the photo line on the bottom. So if you turn the pages of this book, now you see here how I have, well, this is Tuesday, and this was our trip to the Pearl Harbor. When you're out and you're taking photos, another good key thing to think about is take a picture of somewhere you're at, and I can kick myself in the backside because we flew to Vegas 2 years ago, and all these people were getting off the bus. There's a bus that goes up and down the main drag of Vegas. And they're getting off saying, where's the sign? Where's the sign at? And these people were walking like a couple blocks up ahead of where the bus stopped. And apparently that's where the Welcome to Las Vegas sign was. Guess who didn't go to the Welcome to Las Vegas sign? That would be me and, yes, my wife, Mary. We never went to the Las Vegas sign. So we're planning to go back to Vegas because there's certain pictures I need to get. But anyway, if you turn the page, so you can add pictures on the left. On the left of the screen on Shutterfly, there is tabs at the top. You can do 1 picture layout, 2 picture layout, a 3 picture layout, and anywhere there's text, that's where there'll be text on your page, and a 4 picture layout, and as well as a 5 picture layout. What I can tell you in playing with this yesterday a lot is when you're building your photo book, make sure if you have a landscape photo, put it landscape, right? And if you have a portrait type photo, if your camera's up on end, with the iPhone or whatever up on end, then I would suggest you use a portrait type of a frame to put your picture in. And again, I'm not trying to dazzle you with my pictures. I'm just simply showing you through this photo book a little bit. Excuse me. So the photo book, as you can see, you can add text to it anywhere you want to add text. And I think when you create a book, add some text, because when people are looking at your book, remember the old days when you go to somebody's house, they say, hey, sit around. I got the slideshow projector. Let's look at pictures. This is Johnny when he was 3. This is Sally when she was 5. Look at them playing ball in the backyard. Isn't it better to have words? I mean, people are pretty intelligent nowadays, right? They can read, and they can just read through your book without you sitting over their shoulder bothering them, and they can see where you were and see the different pictures. Just like so. Well, what I wanted to show you was we just added those cell phone pictures, and they're not in our timeline. I know they're not in here because I have to add them to my timeline. To add pictures to this is really easy. I'm going to go down to Add Photos on the bottom of my timeline, right above the pictures, and I'm going to click on Add Photos. And if this works out right, you'll see where it says, look, the first one there is Hawaii Cell. That's the ones we just recently uploaded. So we are going to take Hawaii Cell. We're going to select all because we want all those pictures. and we're going to add them to our photo book. So we're going to click on Add to Photo Book. Now, put photos in the photo strip or create pages and add these pictures. Now, if you already have your photo book and it's pre-created, you allowed Shutterfly or Snapfish or any of these services to create the book, then you may want to just say create new pages with these photos. I am creating this book on my own. So I want to say put the photos in the photo strip. I'm going to say OK. It's going to add those photos down here to the photo strip. You can see we're just added those on top actually. And I can use those photos now in my photo book. So if I wanted to add that, let's say the hot dog breakfast that we had right there to my Pearl Harbor pictures, I can do that very easily. But what I wanted to add first of all is these 2 tickets of our trip to Pearl Harbor. So I'm going to go back in my book and I'm going to look at the beginning of Pearl Harbor, wherever I started this at. So right here is where I started the Pearl Harbor trip. And I wanted to add those 2 tickets. Now this is actually the Pearl Harbor here. Let's see, go back one more and see what I had at the end there. No, that was the first day. That was Monday. So I'm going to go back in my book. So what I want to do is add those here. But I want to add those somehow here. But these 2 pictures are already there. So how can I manage to do that? Well, let's go back to the 4 pictures. And what we're going to do now is, I think we're just going to add a 4-shot onto here. What it's going to do, it should keep my 2 pictures up there. It's going to keep my words here. But the words you can see are all formatted another, left to right. So if I click on the words, I can edit the text. I'm going to center my text. And then I can see what these tickets would look like just by dragging this ticket up and dropping it into here. You can see now that our ticket is on our photo book. You can see where it takes it out of our timeline. So let's put this one up here. And now I just added my tickets to my actual, photo book. If you have to edit this picture, if you click on it, it's going to come up and you can edit it. You can crop it. You can add some effects to it. You can reduce red eye. So there's a lot of stuff you can do that we as photographers normally do before we ever start building the photo book. You can also crop it. You might want to pull that lady's feet out of there. So you can crop this up a little bit. I really don't want to crop that ticket out though. Yeah, I'm not going to crop it. What I was trying to do is pull it down, but this is one of those crops where you can only go from the corners and pull it in, so we don't want to do that. So we're just going to simply hit done. And there you go. So I added those to that, and I think that's a really nice little touch when you're away. If you have any tickets or anything in your hands for a show or anything, you may want to add those to your overall pictures. Let's move on here. I probably will not add the hot dog picture. I don't think it really matters a whole lot. I mean, outside telling you folks about my breakfast I had of the great hot dogs. These are just all pictures from Pearl Harbor. This is the Missouri. If you know the history, that is where the treaty was signed for the war. And then this started our Polynesian culture tour. So this was on Wednesday. And I put that on there Wednesday morning. And that is where I created that first selfie at. This first selfie right here. This was our lunch, picture of our lunch we had there. That was a picture of the stage. So there's a couple pictures here I may want to add into my book itself. So again, the photo books are just wonderful for that. And let me just refer to the chat room for a second and say, hi, Deborah. Great to see you back here again. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. So this is a great place to get your photo books built up. Now, if we're going back, we're going to go back here, and it might be easier. This is, let me just point this out. And I don't mean to make this a tour, a tour of what we did on our vacation, but this is a family that we got hooked up with when we were in a tour. You had to be in a tour group of 9 to 10 people. And it was a private tour. The girl in the front's name was Juggy or Chicky. She had a really interesting name. Jiggy, I think her name was. Because she was Polynesian, her name was real long. She said, hey, just call me this. And she had a nice little catch name. But most of these people in this picture are from Australia. And it was just really nice for us to get hooked up with his family, and they were just so much fun. Such great people. The two people in the back are from the state of Washington. And that was just nice to have, us, the Pittsburgh people, with the Washington people, with the folks from Australia. What a wonderful day we had with those folks. So that was our last day of, that was on Wednesday. So on Thursday, we took a trip and we went to Maui. So we're going to start a new section of our book here. And all you got to do is pull out what you want to start your pictures off. And I don't usually start liking it with words. So if you use a template, you delete these words. You actually delete this actual text box. And we're going to delete that picture there. What I want to do here is I like starting my new sections of the book with something to elaborate of where you were. So what we want to do here is use one, and we are simply going to bring out this picture over here and just drop it. And you can see how it changed the page. We're going to bring a beach of Maui up, and I'm just going to drop it in there. And these were not taken with my cell phones, folks. These were taken with my D600 Nikon, and they were actually taken with the Nikon camera. And on that camera itself, I was using my wide-angle lens. I shot everything wide the whole vacation. I never changed my lens. This is our day tour of Maui. Okay, because it was only a one-day tour. This is our day tour of Maui. And I want to center that. Maybe I want to change my fonts so you can do all that stuff in this book. It's really, really easy to do. I do like these to be bigger. Might even be bigger than that. Maybe 18. Click on done. And you can see, so it starts your book right off, and you can start adding your pictures. So again, when you want to add your pictures, the thing you got to make sure of is make sure you have enough pages. See, this is saying blank page. So I know I don't have enough pages. At the top of the editor, it's going to show you your book. And it's going to show you how much money it's going to cost you. So right now I'm up to $43. This is a hardcover 10-inch by 10-inch book is what I wanted. And every page I add is an extra $1.20. You get the first 20 pages for $22.49. Plus there's some shipping. The hardcover is going to cost me $11. And the storytelling is an extra $5. So to print the text and stuff in there is an extra $5. But if you're creating something like this, you cannot, you can create a scrapbook like this, but you cannot create a, you'll never create a photo album like this. And you're going to write little stuff on pieces of paper and shove them on the pictures. That's just not good. And this is a lifetime of memories, right? We'll have this book for life, and we can share this. People's been saying, Jack, I want to see your pictures from your vacation. I can hand this to my mom, and she can go through the pictures one at a time. So it's just so great and such an easy way to do it. Jake said, "Data boy." I was worrying about using cell phone pictures. No, Jake, I did not shoot every picture with my cell phone. Absolutely not. I carried my D600, like I said, my wide-angle lens. I think my wide-angle lens now is an 18 by 24 or 14 by 24, whatever. But that's what I shot these all with. I never changed the lens in Hawaii, not once. And the reason was when we went to Las Vegas, we took a trip to the Grand Canyon, and we took my camera backpack. Most of you folks have seen my camera backpack that I carry with all my gear in it. It was extremely heavy. We had to get on and get off the bus at every stop, and it was heavy. And Mary said she was tired of dragging it around. No, that's not true. I didn't make Mary drag it around. I carried the bag. She carried the tripod. But it was just heavy. So this year, I decided to take my little camera case. Only my camera fit in there. I did take a 50mm lens just because that's the way I am. I like to have a nice little lens with me. 50 I thought was pretty good because it's small and it was light. But I never changed my lenses. And that's, just a neat little tidbit of information for you there. But every shot I took was wide. So, and that's good and bad, because there was a picture of a guy that was climbing a coconut tree. He's going up the coconut tree, and everybody's like, "Oh, look at that guy." And my wife's like, "Get a picture." And I shot a picture. Well, geez, it's wide, right? The guy looks like he's about 2 inches tall. So, yeah, so that's the bad thing about wide. But most shots when I'm shooting, landscapes and oceans and shores and banks and mountains, wide is the way to go, folks. Shoot wide angle. All right, so the rest of the book here, all you do is just keep going through. If you run out of pages, you have to add pages to your book. So if you want to add pages to your book, you would go up to Pages at the top and click on Add Pages. And I've been adding them about 4 or 5 at a time. So we're going to add 4 more pages because I don't want to make too many pages. I'm sure you can delete them. And I'm just going to create them after page 24. So now you see I have more pages to work with. So again, I just come back over and I just grab out another picture layout. And I try to look down here in my pictures and think, how many pictures am I putting in here at one time? This is actually that guy that was climbing the tree, so I'm going to put him in there. And you can see that's not too bad. I did do some cropping on that, I'll have to be honest with you. We're going to put my lunch in here that we had. That was a picture of lunch. Again, if you want to click on that, you can change the positioning of that if you want. That looks pretty good. I'm going to put my selfie in there, see if it'll work. That's not too bad, huh? Little selfie picture there. Mary was running to the restroom. I thought, that's a good time to take a selfie. And this is actually a picture of the stage we was at that night for the luau. It was on that stage there. And actually, these didn't happen in Maui. So see, I can take those back out. Just click on them, and I'll take those back out. Those was actually at the Culture Center. Those weren't at Maui. But the beaches were, so I'll put the beaches in here. And you can see just how easy it is to build these photo books. I mean, if you've never done one, I suggest you do a photo book. They are absolutely beautiful. It's a great, great conversation piece. I made Mary one I think it was last Christmas or Christmas before, of the kids growing up. So it's great for that. You have their smallest pictures. You have them in school. You have them in sporting events, all the way until their graduation year. And she was just, she was teared up over it because she thought it was so nice. So anyway, so we're going to leave you with that. Once you're done with the book, and I always suggest click on Save, Save, Save. As you see when I opened it, I almost had tears in my eyes because it was a lot of work I put into this book. And then you click on Order, and you can order the book through Shutterfly. So right now you see I'm up to $47. I think when I'm done with this book, I'll probably be around $60 with some shipping. But hey, it's great memories. I'm writing, the little stuff in there, the book and everything. And it's just great, great memories to have. So it's a wonderful thing to have going on there. So folks, I hope you like this first show here of season 2 that we're on right now. As you can see, these are pre-scripted. They're not pre-written. I mean, outside of the little opening and ending segments I go through here. But, I'm glad that everybody popped back in there. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for spread the word on Facebook, guys. Get on there and say, hey, people, listen up. Join Jack's show on Sunday morning, learn more about photography. I'm always glad to share it. I want to get some stuff going on. I want you guys to start thinking a little bit maybe and send me some comments on Facebook or email me at jackstechcorner@gmail.com and say, Jack, I want to know more about this or that. And maybe I'll put that together for you. I mean, I'm sure I can. And it helps me to gather more ideas and insights for these shows. I'm glad I can share with you today some stuff with your cell phones. Get these cell phones out there and take some pictures. I'm planning, Jake, and I'm going to make my friend Jake here a little upset. I'm planning on taking my cell phone out one day. I'm looking at little lenses you can buy for it, but I want to take it out and I'm going to do a little bit of nature shooting with it just to see what I can do with it and how good it really could be. I still love my camera. Don't get me wrong. I'm a Nikon guy. Sorry about the Canon folks out there, but I am a Nikon guy. I love my D600. I shoot everything in the world with it, and it's a great, great camera. But I just want to see what I can do and see how they come out. So, folks, thank you so much for tuning into the show. If you're downloading the show from iTunes and you're listening to it on a podcast, please subscribe to my videos. You can subscribe to those at 42 Technoman on YouTube. Check those out. This is where the whole video will be from today's show. if you still have my DVD, I still have the DVD collection available. I did create the new one. If you guys didn't know, the Photoshop Elements 12 DVD is out. It's available. If you go to jackstechcorner.com, you can pick up your copy there today. If you're interested in the online learning, we talked about this in the past. Some of you have signed up. Thank you so much for doing so. That's at jtclearning.com, jtclearning.com. You can sign up for the Photoshop Elements 12 videos. And to do that, if you do that today, or do it anytime actually, use the coupon code JTC5, JTC number 5, for $5 off. Once again, that is jtclearning.com. Looking at the chat room, good morning to MC13. Glad you can make it in there this morning. And with that, I'll say take care, folks. Have a great work week. Until next Sunday morning, keep those shutters clicking, keep your editors editing, and I'll see you back here next week on The Photography Guy. Take care, peace out, and I'll see you then. Thanks for tuning in to The Photography Guy. I am your photography guy, and I'll be here once again next time for more photography tips and tricks. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe to the show and enjoy the music.